Electric type Pokemon are a super neutral type within the series. It hits all but 4 types for neutral or above damage, and they take not very effective damage from only 3 types, which makes most interactions neutral damage. Until the ground type comes along, which is electric type's only weakness. But because electric only has 1 weakness, it is balanced by the fact that ground types also take 0 damage from electric Pokemon, making them the perfect counter. So I'm going to do an electric type Nuzlocke in Pokemon Black 2, where one of the strongest run-killing ground gyms lives. Starting out my journey in Aspertia City, I asked Bianca for the Tepig, mainly so that my rival gets the Oshawott, which will be very weak to the rest of my squad, but I quickly make my way up to Ram Ranch to get my official starter, Mareep, which just happens to be my favorite Pokemon once it's fully evolved. Thor the Mareep has assembled. But this is all I get against the first gym, Charon. So let's make it count. The Thundershock into Para gets to about half HP as I take a little tackle damage, but I clear up with another high roll Thundershock. Lillipup comes in for a workup as I Thundershock, and luckily the boosted tackle gets me low enough to proc my Aura Berry as I Thundershock back. The next turn, the tackle brings me to the red, but the static procs, and I get a nice clean Thundershock to get my first gym badge. At the Verbank Complex, I catch the next star of this feature film, Electro the Magnemite. Being Steel type and heading into the Poison Gym makes this very anticlimactic, just spamming Thundershock again and getting my second gym badge. At Castelia City, I wander around looking for the Gift Eevee and the Eviolite, which the latter was in the final building of the city I checked. And then I found out that the Gift Eevee is only available after the Elite Four is defeated. So rest in peace to having a Jolteon for this run. I head into the third gym, but it's kind of annoying since 2 of the 3 bug Pokemon are part grass, which makes them resist my electric moves and means I'm gonna have to actually try and put some effort in. Thor is now a Flaffy, which means he takes a lot of Razor Leafs, and I spam a lot of returns until the potion comes out. And luckily the Eviolite keeps me alive to survive this beating, and I survive this 1v1 at 4 HP. As Rubble comes in, I switch to Magnemite. Magnabomb here does close to half, and 2 more wipe out the Rock Bug. The Ace, Livani, comes out now and Razor leaves me and procs my Aura Berry as I T-Wave to gain some speed control, which in Gen 5 brings your speed down to a quarter of the original instead of half in the newer games. And then I use Sonic Boom, which is a move that always does 20 HP worth of damage, helps me out a lot, seems as my moves really aren't doing a lot else. And Livani keeps on missing some string shots here, and I just end up winning. 3 down. Now, I knew I could get an Emolga from the rustling grass in the roots next to Nimbasa City, but I couldn't get it to rustle for me. I swore it off and convinced myself I had to beat the 4th gym before the grass would even rustle, but it just turns out I just don't know how the mechanic works. Luckily enough though, both my teammates have evolved into the 4th gym, so that should help a lot. Emolga is at least a start, so I start with a return for about half HP, and then a spark, which results in them both being paralyzed, and she heals up. I do a bit more chip damage as she swaps Emolga into Zeb Striker with Flame Charge, and it takes nothing from my spark due to the Lightning Rod ability. So I go back into my Ampharos and Static slows it down, and I spam some returns which eventually get the kill. Flaffy comes in next as I swap into my Eviolite Magneton, but I do get power hacked. Flaffy Volt switches out as I dish out 2 returns to Emolga to make it faint, and a few more returns from Magnemite and a few power hacks. Means I have to swap back to Ampharos, which should be faster than its pre-Evo. Luckily I am. Having more than 2 Pokemon in the gym full would be really nice, but the ground gym is next, and that's the real test. I figured out how to finally get an Emolga, which is supposed to be a 10% encounter, but I did run into 2 Cinccino's before then, which are 5% encounters each. But welcome to the squad, Beta Ray Bell. The flying type brings an immunity to the upcoming ground gym, which is great to help pivot. Now, in Chargestone Cave, I allow myself to pick up both of my possible encounters here, because I am limited to 7 Pokemon in this run, and it would be the best way for me to do this and honestly be the most fun. So Miles the Joltik and Zax the Tynamo join the team, but Tynamo is super weak until it's fully evolved, but it does have Levitate, which makes it a great pivot around this ground gym. But before I head into Clay, my chat tells me that I can actually go get an Eevee. Turns out there is a very small grass patch inside of Castelia City, which I just forgot about. Eevee spawn there, so I catch Storm and evolve him up to a Jolteon, and I also pick up the leftovers, which I left down in the sewers earlier. Now let's see if I can actually do this. Clay leads Krokorok as I lead Emolga. I use a track to help my chances of survival, but it breaks through with a Torment. A Return is about half HP, and he gets off a Crunch and makes me weak. But I do get the Static proc and a little bit of Leftovers recovery. Into Jolteon to take a Crunch, and a Rock Smash with Expert Belt KOs the Croc. Sandslash then comes into Bulldoze, so I swap back into Emolga and get that free bit of Lefty's Recurve. My plan here is to lock him into Rollout, as I should survive the first hit before it gets up to dealing too much damage. So I attract, and it Crush Claws and lowers my defenses, but I do get a Static proc. I go to Zax and try a Tackle before I realize how weak this thing is. So swap back to Ampharos in order, eat up a Crush Claw, fire off a pitiful Return, and I eat up one Bulldoze. But another one will kill Ampharos, so I have to swap into Emolga to dodge it. But I pivot back to Magnemite on a Crush Claw, which lowers my defenses again. So it's time to PP stall. I keep switching between Emolga and Magnemite until I get a safe opportunity to Magnet Bomb and survive on 12 HP. I do one more Magnet Bomb, but I lose my Magnemite at the same time. And it sucks for Magnemite to be gone this early. I go to Jolteon as I think the Rock Smash will kill, but it leaves it so weak that Clay uses the Hyper Potion and I have to start all over again. This is looking utterly terrible. I use some returns on Emolga now that the PP is kind of stalled a little bit, and Sandslash gets wiped out. But I still have to deal with the Run Killer Excadrill. Knowing there's an upcoming Rock Slide, but with half my team weak, the best thing to do is to stay in and attract and hope for the best luck, which on this turn actually works. Next I go for a Return, which does next to nothing, and the Rock Slide eventually connects with Emolga, which gives us 2 fallen friends now. Jolteon comes in and really doesn't do anything, which leads to a wipe. I went in a little ignorant, a bit too cocky, and extremely underprepared. Let's fix this in attempt 2, shall we? This run is almost the same, except that I caught an Eevee at the right time, as well as Emolga, so I actually had more than 2 Pokemon for the Elise battle. Oh, and I have a new Pokemon, Electabuzz, because I switched over to playing White 2 instead of Black 2, where Elekid is available in Verbank Complex, which allows me for a few fighting moves and the elemental punches. Additionally, I evolved Magneton into Magnezone in Chargestone Cave for the extra bulk, and I spend about an hour grinding out type gems. They are really good, and there's a reason they don't exist anymore. So let's see if these additions can actually help me with Clay this time. I lead with Joltik to avoid the Intimidate, and a Bug Champ boosted Signal Beam just Okos. And then he goes straight to the Excadrill. So to dodge the Bulldoze, I go to Emolga, except it Rock Slides and misses. But I go unpunished for this mistake. Then I switch into Electabuzz on a Slash. My Fire Punch does about 75% damage, which is great, but it does activate a Citrus Berry, and my Eviolite allows me to survive a Bulldoze. But only one. So on the next one, I go to Dynamo for a pivot into Jolteon, who takes a Rock Slide. I dig underground, and a Ground Gem boosted dig finishes off them all. And then as Sandslash comes in, I swap into Magnezone, which is always safe because of Steady, and with a little bit of speed investment and a Steel Gem, and having to hit an 85% accurate move, my Mirror Shot one-shots the Sandshrew. The hardest hurdle so far is down. Let's keep on going. To the Flying Gym, which I just spammed Discharge and Jolteon on. Only 2 more badges to go. I set the appropriate level of level 45 to evolve my Electabuzz into an Electivire, and taught it the only Ice-type move that my whole team could learn, Ice Punch. And I gave him the Expert Belt, giving him the extra bit of power to smack around some dragons. First up is Drodigan, which is a roll to kill with an Ice Punch, and it doesn't work, but it does mean the potion's out the way now, and a follow-up crit on the Ice Punch does the job for me. And then a 4 times effective Ice Punch that crits, wipes out Flygon, and then the Haxorus goes for the D-Dance before I can get off my Ice Punch, which brings it pretty close to dying, but for some reason on this next turn, I just go first, even though it's faster than me and it's got a speed boost, but okay, I won the Dragon Badge. Water Gym next? Wow, cool. I wonder how I won this one. Maybe with a Discharge? discharge. Next is the main Getters fight. So I run around grabbing TMs and move tutors and builds actually full team. I start with Jolteon versus Gothororo, which a gem boosted Shadow Ball gets the instant kill after a Protect Stall. Seismitoad comes out and I go to Electros to dodge the EQ and pivot to Garvantula to take a Muddy Water, which I use Giga Drain to OHKO and I recover all of my HP again. I counter Getters' Electros with my own Electros, but mine has Giga Drain and leftovers, so I can out-survive it. This takes a while though, because Getters uses the full restore, but it does work. Drapion is next, and I stay for one Thunderbolt before I swap over to my Spider for an Electro Ball, and pick up another kill there. The Ace Hydreigon comes out a little bit early, so Electivire it is. Though the Life Orb hits me really hard, and luckily the low kick gets an OHKO and just wipes out Hydreigon, which puts me in a great spot for Emolga to use a Flying Gem Acrobatics on the Toxicroak and make it to the Elite Four. My final team going to the final gauntlet is Garvantula, Electivire, Emolga, Electros, Jolteon, and Magnezone. I start by picking Caitlyn, the Psychic Leader, who basically bows down to my Spider. With great power comes great responsibility. Prepared with the Chesto Berry, the first turn I Charge Beam the Musherna to get the special attack raise, but instead of yawning, this pink elephant, I think, uses Reflect. It really does nothing to me. It seems as I'm a special attacker, so I just go for the Signal Beam and wipe out this floating thing. The Sigalith I could discharge, but I go for another Charge Beam to get another attack boost and bait out the full restore, which allows me to Charge Beam again, which puts me at a +3, which I can just click Signal Beam twice at this point and wipe out the 2 remaining Pokemon. Next is Marshall the Fighting Expert. I lead with Emolga, but I need to dodge around a lot of rock moves here. The Flying Gem Acrobatics does OHKO the Fast Muppet, but in comes the Stone Edging Clown. And knowing that I can't one-shot back with Acrobatics anymore, I go to Magnezone, which I Volt Switch on to go back into Electros, which the Hammer Arm does a lot more than I actually expected, but a Giga Drain keeps me healthy enough to take another one. Just about. But knowing Hammer Arm is coming again, I go back to Beta Ray, who takes it like the armored dinosaur they are, and gets the kill with yet another Acrobatics. I Volt Switch on the Sork here to break the steady, and I go to Magnezone. But I thought I could outspeed, and a Brick Break connects with my Magnezone, and we lose a key player in the early to mid game, but I'm glad he was the one that I lost here, as I didn't have much planned for him for the rest of the run. But it is a little sad knowing that I didn't make it flawless. No time to be sad though, as I get a clean switch into something much faster. Emolga uses yet another super effective move to get a kill, and another Acrobatics OHKO on the Minchow, which means that's 2 of the 4 down. I do have to play it pretty safe now, because I really can't let anyone else faint before the champion. So we take on Grimsley next, the Dark Trainer. I take a Fake Out and a decent Night Slash from the Lipard, but the low kick from Electivire wipes the floor with it and kills it straight away. Crocodile comes in to intimidate me, and knowing there's an EQ coming means I get to go to Electros and just use Giga Drain. And I make it out. I'm pretty good HP. Scrafty comes in and every part of my brain says go to Emolga, but I see that he's got Rock Tomb and is extremely slow. And knowing that the AI will always go for a guaranteed speed drop move if it needs to, so I decide to stay in and Drain Punch for 50% HP, and I was right to do so. The next Drain Punch gets Scrafty low enough that I know the full restore is coming, which allows me to switch back into Emolga and get the Flying Jam Acrobatics off, and get the OHKO. Bishop is last, which I Volt Switch to Electivire, low kick, and make it out alive. I left Chantal, the Ghost Leader, last because I had no real answer for the Chandelure, but I guess I gotta face it now. Ghost Gem, just Shadow Ball should one-shot the Coffin. Okay, at least the full restore is used, but 2 back-to-back Shadow Balls now get the kill. But it does leave me a little weak. Golett comes in, but my ground immune eel comes out, and I abuse Giga Drain and just topple over Alphonse Elric. So then the Chandelure comes in, and I make the calculated decision to stay in on the Fire Blast, and just about make it before my Thunderbolt makes the most clutch crit of the run, and OHKOs the light fixture. We got the crit! All that is left is a balloon which I let Electivire just pop with a Thunder Punch. Hey, the final fight against Iris, and I'm only one Pokemon down. Let's see if I can make it. But if you did enjoy this video, please subscribe. I stream this whole run live on YouTube right here, right on this channel. And if you have any other ideas for challenge Nuzlocke like this, let me know in the comments below. See you on the other side. Alright, we low kick. Outspeed. Oh, one shot, man. She's gonna full restore now, and I just double low kick, and oh shit. This is hairline off being good there. Okay, that should bring in Aggron, who I 100% outspeed and 100% kill the low kick. Okay. Haxorus now? Oh no, man, I just Ice Punch. I just do the Ice Punch. I get a big hit off. If I die, I die. But if he... Yeah, he goes for the EQ. 07 to Electivire. That's the important part though, is that I got that big hit off. And now I think I can Flying Gem on this, or do I Signal Beam? Yeah, okay, I Acrobatics now. I Acrobatics. Bit overkill, but getting Haxorus dead is needed. But it's definitely good for an Ice move, and I can Volt Switch out right now, get a bit of chip off. Which I go into Electros, and I Giga Drain for myself some more PP. Well, not enough to kill, but do we get a kill? Do we get a kill? Yes. Well, we got Archeops and Druddigon left. The only downside is that I do not have an Ice Punch for Druddigon anymore. My guy is in good health. Zax is in good health right now. Okay, we basically do nothing to each other, but I can heal. So I should just Drain Punch. And it goes after me, so that means it can never flinch with those rock slides. Whoa. Okay, that did more to me than I thought it would. So I Volt Switch. I got a Citrus. The other two guys are just weak to rock moves. Actually, Shadow Ball is my best move. And if I don't die here, that's good. And I shouldn't unless they crit. You got the Citrus. Jolteon, if I don't kill here, Jolteon dies, but I get a free switch in. I definitely outspeed this thing on my other guys. And then Archeops just dies with Thunder move. And an Electric move. I get the kill anyway. Archeops just dies to a Discharge now. Did it. Holy fuck. I did it. Thank you, Iris. I beat you up.